Greetings, Captains! I am your host, Brent Justice. Welcome to my gaming channel, Justice Gaming, and welcome to Star Trek Online. I am in this game today to give you a preview of a starship that I just got and that I am really having a lot of fun with. In the future, I will probably do a full review of this ship, but for now, this is just a preview, a trickle of information and things to show you about this ship, because I'm excited about it. So, what do I have for you today? I have an Elachi S'ateth Escort Tier 6X. That's right, I liked it so much, I got the Tier 6X upgrade on it. So, let's go over a little bit about this escort. This is the Elachi S'ateth class escort. It's a Tier 6 escort, which I'm reading this from the wiki, by the way, which may be flown by characters of any faction. This starship can be used from any level upon completion of the tutorial. As you level up, the ship gains hull, weapons, and console slots. Players can obtain this starship as an ultra-rare drop from the Infinity Lockbox. It comes in an Infinity Prize Pack, Tier 6 Ship Choice Package, which is bound to you. The boxed ship is not bound, and some may be traded until you unbox it, of course. You can sell this on the exchange. However, there were none on the exchange when I looked. None of them at all. In fact, that's where I was primarily going to get it from. But what I had to wait for was the Mud's Faith of the Heart choice pack. So this is a Mud pack that's typically very expensive, these packs, under Mud's market. However, when I bought this just recently, they had a big sale going on, and that's when I got it. So I did not pay the full price for this thing. No, I got it on a big sale. And that's the only way I was ever going to get it anyway, was with a sale. But I decided to plop down the money because, hey, I have been wanting this ship for a long time. The specs on it, let's go over those real quick. Tier 6 Escort. At level 65, your hull is 42,750. Hull modifier is 0.95. Has a shield modifier of 1.3, a turn rate of 16, impulse 0.20, inertia of 60, uses matter antimatter. It has plus 15 to weapons and plus 5 to engine. It has the experimental weapon slot. It has 5 tactical console slots, 2 engineering, 4 science. It has the ability called the Crescent Wave Cannon Barrage. And we'll go over all these things too. So as you can see, I have 2 engineering consoles. I have 4 science consoles here. And then I have 5 tactical consoles. So that's a lot of tactical consoles because, well, it's an escort. It is meant to do a lot of offensive damage. It does have a universal console slot because I upgraded it to the Tier 6 X experimental ship upgrade. That gave it a universal console slot. So I have this other console slot. I can put anything in here. And so that's basically just another free console slot, which is awesome. Has an experimental weapon, has 3 aft weapons slots, and 4 forward weapon slots, a deflector, impulse, warp, and shield. The mastery is the Precise Weapon Systems Mastery. We have increased accuracy, plus 5% accuracy rating. We have plus 5 defense rating. We have plus 10% kinetic and energy damage improvement. We have plus 2.5% critical chance. And then the Tier 5 ability is called a Crescent Wave Discharge. The Overload and Pilot Bridge Officer abilities grant Crescent Wave counters. When activating the Beam Overload or any Pilot Bridge Officer ability, you gain 1 Crescent Wave counter for 120 seconds. At 3 counters, To target, you do 99 disruptor damage. To target, disable one subsystem for 3 seconds, and self prevent gaining crescent wave counters for 30 seconds. Now, that is an interesting way of going about enabling it, because this ship is primarily loaded with cannons. Now, it actually does come with beam weapons as well. It's got a mix of beam and cannons. But if you want to maximize this ship to its best of its ability, you should stick to one. You should stick to either beams or cannons. And on this ship, it makes sense to stick with cannons, because the crescent wave ability is a cannon ability. And also, if you want to augment it with Elachi powers from the Lobi store, one of those powers is this weapon here, which is the heavy crescent wave cannon, which is part of the set called Silent Enemy. So if you're going to use that set on this ship, which includes a torpedo and a console, well, then you would be really offsetting the ship if you just had one cannon and then everything else beams. So you probably are going to stick with a cannon build on this ship if you want to stick with a quote Elachi build for this ship. If you want to keep it Elachi themed, you're going to want cannons on this ship, because you're going to want that heavy crescent wave look to it, that crescent wave torpedo, crescent wave cannons, and in addition crescent wave turrets too. So that whole look means you're probably going to go cannons. And if you go cannons, what can you not do? Well, beam overload, because you're not going to have any beams. So that takes that out of the equation for enabling that ability. That means you're only left with a pilot bridge officer ability. That means you must have a pilot bridge officer ability to enable this, or else you're just out in the woods and you don't get to use that special ability. Let's look at the stations on it, and you will see that we only have an ensign engineering. That ain't good, but at least we have some universal slots here. These are two universal slots, but they are also pilot, so they can support the pilot abilities. And so that's where you would want to slot a pilot ability in one of those at least, so you can enable that special ability of your ship. Otherwise, you're just not going to utilize it. Right now, I'm not utilizing it. You'll notice I have no beam overload because I'm using cannons, and I have no pilot abilities. So right now, I am not benefiting from that final ability of the ship. And I've chosen that because I've kind of wanted to do a lot of damage right now. But by doing that, and staying alive, because I'm using some engineering abilities too. So by doing that, I don't get to use that final ability. So that's kind of sucks. I wish it was not beam overload. I wish it was like I wish it was like cannon scatter volley or cannon rapid fire. I wish it was a cannon ability, because then it would be used all the time. But right now, I'm not using it. So that's one of the caveats with this ship. Kind of crappy that you have to stick to a beam overload build on this ship, which really does not match this ship at all. I'm going to tell you, beams just doesn't match this ship. It's an escort. This is an escort. It's a fast moving ship that can just do a lot of offensive damage. If you pack this thing with cannons and turrets, you're going to be firing out the wazoo. And that's exactly what I'm doing in my build. But that means I'm not going to benefit from that ability unless I put a pilot ability in there. So I guess I'm going to have to do that in the future. I'm going to have to look at that. Well, I'm going to have to sacrifice something. Because right now, I got Torpedo High Yield 3. That's an awesome ability because I am using the Elachi torpedo. And that is a really cool thing. I have Cannon Scatter Volley. That makes sense because I'm using cannons. And then I have a tactical team. Now I guess I've got 2 tactical teams here, so maybe that's where I can put a pilot ability. I will have to get a bridge officer that has pilot abilities. Right now I have no bridge officers that are specialized in pilot abilities, so that's another caveat of the ship. You have to have a bridge officer specialized in pilot abilities. So I'm going to have to get that, a character, you know, trained as a pilot ability, so that I can even put one of the pilot abilities in there. So a little bit of work to get that to work, but I just wanted to mention all that. That's part of the ship, but that could be a little work for you, especially if you have a new character like I do here. So as I mentioned, we have these 2 here. Then we have Ensign. We have a full Commander Tactical, so that's nice. We get that Tier 3 Tactical ability, so that's good. And then we have three slots here for Science. So actually a lot more on Science than I thought we would have. It's a little light on Engineering, but it is an escort. Now, let me just explain this character and my theme behind the ship. This is my character. This is a name that the game gave this character, by the way. I did not name her this. This was a random generated name. But I can change that in the future. That's not really the issue here. This is my new Delta Recruit that I created in the recent Delta Recruit thing that was going on. I wanted to create another Delta Recruit character, and I did. And this one is Romulan female. So Romulan faction, Delta Recruit. She is an engineer. My idea was I wanted to create an engineer who can do and have robust healing and stay aliveness, you know, a lot of being able to take damage and tank damage, but yet fly an escort, something that is typically like flying paper, but can do a lot of offensive damage. And so that's my theory here. Let's get a ship that can do a lot of offensive damage, but can still stay alive in the battle because it's backed by an engineer and those abilities. So it's kind of like an offensive tank in a way. Think of it like that. And so I have always been wanting to use the new Elachi ship. The reason why is because I previously had the Tier 5 Escort Tier 5 Elachi ship. I had that a long time ago when that ship came out on a previous character. I had that on a tactical character. But I've already flied the Escort. I've enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. I was like, well, I mean, Tier 6 is out now. I have to get the new Tier 6 one. So I have been waiting until they did a sale on Mud's Market to get this ship. This is the Tier 6 version of the Escort. Now, my theme for this ship is all Elachi. So I utilize the Lobby store. So let's go to the Lobby store. Space gear. And if you go down here, you will see there is Elachi stuff somewhere. Way down here at the bottom. So we have the Heavy Crescent Wave Cannon, the Elachi Subspace Torpedo Launcher, and the Neural Infusion Circuits. This is an Elachi set called Silent Enemy. I have all 3 pieces. So that makes up an Elachi set. Now there are more Elachi parts if we go up here based on some of the newer ships. The Monbosch and the other ship, there's a couple of Elachi, bigger ships like cruisers and capital ships, stuff like that. And there are some newer Elachi things that go along with that. But I don't have those ships, and so I'm not connecting those devices to this ship. This one is pretty much just the non-cruiser type stuff. So, what does that include? Well, first of all, here's the bioneural infusion circuits. Elachi. This improves starship hull capacity. It improves starship control expertise and critical severity. And of course, it's part of the set. This is the torpedo. It does kinetic damage and a disable. 90-degree targeting arc, it does a lot of kinetic damage, 10% chance disable, plus 80% critical severity, plus 2% critical chance, plus 10% accuracy. And then the heavy crescent wave cannon. This is a disruptor cannon attack, 180 targeting arc. It does disruptor damage, 2.5 chance of plus 50 armor penetration and 100% shield penetration, plus 80% critical severity, plus 10% accuracy. Now, the big thing you see here with this set, disruptor cannon attack. So, this ship is based on disruptor energy damage. If you want to use anything with this ship, if you use the beams, if you use the turrets, anything that comes with it, the stuff that it actually comes with, it's disruptor based. And here's what it comes with. An Elachi beam array standard issue. And as you can see, disruptor damage. It comes with the Elachi dual heavy crescent cannons. Disruptor damage. It comes with the Elachi turret, the standard turret. It is a disruptor turret. So everything that this ship does by default, by nature, is based on disruptor energy damage. So what you want to do is buff this whole ship to disruptor damage up the wazoo, to the max, as much as you can. Find all the things that buff disruptor damage, because that's what you want. So that is what I have done. First of all, tactical consoles, all disruptor damage. I have this little thing here, which is part of the command, part of the counter command ordnance. This is part of the species 8472 reputation. Now the reason why I have this, it does give engine power and auxiliary power and weapon accuracy and flight turn rate. So all that's great. But what it does is, check this out, when it's in combination with this heavy biomolecular disruptor turret, look what it does. More details. The two-piece set gives you plus 7.5% bonus disruptor damage. It does phaser, disruptor, plasma, and tetrion energy weapon damage. So this gives me plus 7.5% disruptor damage by having this two-piece set installed on my ship, again from the 8472 reputation. So the console itself is cool because it has nice abilities, but then put it in combination with this turret, which is a disruptor turret, and you have all those abilities, plus the biomolecular incubation from the turret itself. It does a biomolecular incubation kind of thing. That's not too big. I don't have that buffed up, but I have the disruptor damage buffed up. Of course, in addition to that, I've got an Elachi Crescent turret. These are expensive in the exchange, but I got one right now, and I need to get another one. This is the Elachi Crescent turret. The other one is just an Elachi disruptor turret. It's not a crescent turret. It's more like a bolt. These fire and a crescent. So I want to get another crescent turret. And then I have two Elachi dual heavy crescent cannons up top. All right. So that's one thing there that's boosting disruptor damage. That stuff, that. And then I got another console. This is the Nausicaan Siphon Capacitor. You get this as a mission reward in one of the missions. And check this out. Plus 20% disruptor damage right there. So just putting this in the science console slot, boom. Plus 20% disruptor damage. In addition to that, I'm using the universal console slot for this little baby. This is the Harmonic Resonance Relay. Again, another mission reward. But look, plus 20% disruptor damage. Plus 20%. So I got plus 20% disruptor damage here. I got plus 20% disruptor damage here. With this and this, I have plus 7.5% disruptor damage. Alright, then of course I got 5 tactical consoles doing disruptor damage. Oh yeah, disruptor damage. Like I said, I want this ship to be offensively powerful. Now for deflector, impulse, and shield, right now I am using Elite Fleet stuff. Elite Fleet Adaptive Covariant Shield, Elite Fleet Efficient Impulse Engine, and Elite Fleet Axion Deflector Array, which gives weapon accuracy, defensive maneuvering, and all that. So I have some good abilities on this ship. Now as for my traits, starship traits, I am of course using the trait it comes with. So that's this trait here, Crescent Wave Discharge. And then I have a few other traits from other ships. I have an onboard dilithium recrystallizer. It adds 10 power per second to whichever subsystem is lowest. It gives plus 10% bonus damage per non-weapon power subsystem, currently at maximum. I have Going the Extra Mile, plus 10% increased shield and hull healing, and plus 10% maximum hit points for 20 seconds. I have Temporal Insight, which is immunity to all damage for 2 seconds. And then Withering Barrage extends duration of the cannon scatter volley by 4 seconds. So I really have a lot of damage going on this ship. Now right now I have the Miracle Worker specialization. Remember I said I want to combine engineering, robustness to offensive damage. So I've got this going on. It's not fully maxed out yet, but I'm getting close. Once I get this specialization done, Miracle Worker, I think I will do the pilot one next. And that should make this ship very good. So this ship is not finished, obviously. Not everything is maxed out. Not all of my specializations are opened up yet. But it's getting there. Okay, it's getting there. Now let's look at the special console that the ship comes with. This right here is the Universal Enhanced Crescent Wave Cannon. It itself gives a plus 2.7% directed energy damage and plus 15% shield hit points. It does extreme disruptor damage plus subsystem disable. Disables movement while charging, and to target it does a lot of disruptor damage. Now, it is part of the improved Crescent Wave Cannon set, and this is what I was talking about. There is an Elachi subspace transceiver and a Cheshire assault craft. So you need the Cheshire ship, you need the Monbosh or Orb something starts with an O. I forget the name of the ship. Some of it's in here actually. The S'ateth now it's available because I have it. But somewhere in here, it actually showed the other ships. You could get them previously. I don't know if they're still available. You can get the Qualsh Frigate, the Walker Pet. Yeah, I don't know exactly where the other ships are. One of them's a low-buy ship store, I think. Ship. Go to ships here. Let's see. Ornosh, that's what I couldn't think of. Ornosh Battle Cruiser. So that's one of the ships that would come with a console that would be part of that set. So yeah, if you got the other Elachi ships, you could combine those consoles and make it even better. I don't have those yet, but eventually I would love to have those ships because I would love to put those consoles on here too and just have every Elachi thing on this ship. But right now, that's what I have. It's a pretty good Elachi build. Let's go to space, and then we'll go to combat. In space, we will look at the actual DPS numbers, the actual damage it's doing, and then we'll look at the power levels, and then we'll do some combat. So, first thing to look at is the damage that these things are doing. Now that we're in space, we can look at that. So this console here, again, plus 20% there. We know that. Those don't change. Plus 20% there. So let's look at the torpedo. It is doing 7,537 kinetic damage, 753 DPS. The heavy crescent wave cannon does to target 1570 disruptor damage, 1256 DPS. I have the dual heavy cannons doing 1989 and 1591. A little different because the modifiers are different. This turret is doing 461 disruptor damage and 554 DPS. This one's doing more. This one is upgraded to the max. It's doing 672 disruptor damage and 807 DPS. And this one's higher on disruptor damage, 979, and then 783 DPS. So this is the only turret I need to upgrade that's left to upgrade. And then this one here's that massive disruptor damage it's talking about. Look at that, 26,451 disruptor damage to a single target. Wow, wowie, wowie, wowie. That's a lot. So yeah, as you can see, yeah, that's going to do pretty good amount of damage with this ship. The crescent wave discharge would do 23,358 disruptor damage. Again, though, I can't enable that ability right now, so I cannot show the crescent wave discharge today. Don't have that. But in the future, when I do the full review of this ship, perhaps I will have that and be able to show that to you. But right now, it's just sitting there, really not doing anything. Let's look at my powers. I do have... Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Actually, let's go here. More details on the Elachi set. I didn't go over the bonuses that the set provides. So with 2 pieces of this set, you also gain plus 9.5% disruptor damage. So there's more disruptor damage. So I've got 20 there, 20 here, 7.5 between these two, and then 9.5 because I have the Elachi set. So that's a lot of disruptor damage. I also get starship shield capacity with this set. But the really cool feature is this one here. The set 3 bonus is called Haywire. You gain a Haywire charge every 10 seconds up to 3 max. For each Haywire charge, 5% chance to reflect up to 50% of one incoming energy damage back to the target in the form of a disruptor pulse with 100% shield penetration. So you can actually reflect disruptor pulses back to the enemy with shield penetration. This is a really cool feature, and again, disruptor damage. And you'll see it as these little balls that circle your ship, and I really love the look of it. It's like, I like to think of them as like drones or things protecting your ship, you know, hovering around your ship. And then with unspeakable energy, maximum number of Haywire charges increases to 6 and increases chance to trigger to 10%. Only works when equipped on an Elachi starship, and I have this on an Elachi starship, so I get 6 charges of Haywire because I'm on an Elachi starship, and a 10% more chance to trigger it. So it's really cool when we go into space and you see it floating around the ship and working. Let's look at my power levels. I got 125, 89, 64, 55. What do I want to show? I was going to show something. I was going to show... I think I already did that, though. I was going to show the damage that these do, but yeah, I just did that. You can do it 2 different ways. So, that's cool. Now, of course, I can increase the damage that these things do. Well, I've got emergency power to weapons, so when I do that, I'm going to get plus 10% bonus energy weapon damage. I mean, that's going to increase the disruptor damage and the DPS of each weapon. So, I mean, I can make it more. Let's show you that. Rearrange HUD. Let's turn this back on real quick. So, like for example, this one is 2831 disruptor damage, 2265. Hit that. And now we're at 3095 disruptor damage, 2476 DPS. So emergency power to weapons is going to give me more damage. And then, like I said, because I'm an engineer, I'm able to do things like rotate shield frequency. I do have emergency power to shields. I got hazard team, things that can boost my hull strength and all that, so I can stay alive. I've got EPS power transfer. Again, that's going to give me more damage and ability to stay alive as well. So I've got a lot of things here. I got Miracle Worker, so if I'm really down, I can just hit it and boom, go up to 100%. So I've got a lot of things here that can boost my health because I'm an engineer. So that's why I wanted to do that on this ship. Have an engineer with this kind of escort. Let's look at my stats. So right now I'm sitting at a hull strength of 72,735, and remember the default is 42,750. So I've buffed that up quite a bit using traits and other things. My shield strength is at 18,000, so that's pretty good. My resists are around 30%. I have 24.1% crit chance and 121% crit severity. Pretty high critical severity. And my turn rate is 33.8 degrees a second. Again, it's an escort, so I can turn around so cool like that. And so firing my cannons, no problemo. And let's see. So here's the crescent wave cannon barrage, and look at that. It's actually doing near 40,000 disruptor damage here in space. 40,000 disruptor damage. I also have another ability that comes from EPS corruption plasma damage. It comes from something I have on this ship, or some ability I have as a Romulan or something. It targets the foe with plasma damage. Now, I'm not buffing plasma damage, so it's not a lot. But it does do a little bit of plasma damage to the enemy. And when target fires any energy weapons, it does plasma damage, weakening corruption, a blade of corruption. I'm not exactly sure where I got this, or what it's from. But I have it. So, hooray. Just another ability I have. I think it was from a previous ship that I had on here. It was a Romulan ship I had before I had this one. And I think a Romulan is very fitting to flying an Elachi ship, since the Romulans deal with the Elachi in this game. The storyline deals with the Romulans and Elachi. I think that's very fitting. Let's go into combat and demonstrate some of my wonderful abilities. This is just a powerful ship. I have played a lot with this. I've done a lot of... you know what we'll do? Might do a... one of the red alerts that's going on right now. But first, let's do something a little controlled, so I can just demonstrate some of the abilities. But I have played a lot of stuff now with this ship, and it's very powerful. I can take down anything. I'm just doing a lot of damage. And I can actually stay alive in heavy combat, which is nice. Do damage and stay alive. Imagine that. I also like the looks of this ship. We didn't look over the looks today in the full review. Probably do that. I love the way the ship looks. It's got a nice profile. It really looks like a slick, powerful ship. Here's the haywire that's starting. You can see it now. These balls that start coming out, emanating from my ship. There's one. You'll see another pops out. And you'll see a third one will pop out. I'll wait for all of them to come out. Number 3 will come out soon. There's number 3. It'll go up to 6 because I have the enhanced haywire stuff. As I've got it on an Elachi ship, I'll have 6 of these. So there's 4. So what these do again is these will reflect back to the enemy. There's 5. And I love this feature of Haywire. It looks really cool. Again, this will work on any ship, but it will only have a max of 3. This one gets 6 Haywires. Look at that. Pretty cool looking, huh? And look how they look when you're flying. They follow you. They follow you in a pretty straight line. Look at that. Doesn't that just look cool? Let's go and fire on that ship.
Target shields have failed.
They're gone. There's really no problem. This ship is just so powerful. Torpedo spread 3. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I love the way the crescent weapons look.
Target shields have failed.
There's one of the torpedoes, or one of the turrets, I should say. Once I get the other crescent wave turret, it'll look even better. I need a bigger target to test the crescent wave barrage because, yeah, these smaller ones are not the best. So let me kill these and we'll go to the next map and I will demonstrate that.
Target shields have failed.
So I didn't even have to use any like real special abilities there. That was just that was cake. Of course I have more special abilities. I even have a tachyon beam. But let's use the heavy crescent wave cannon on something bigger. Let's go to the Kariah system. And on the Romulan Dideridex there that starts off, we will use the heavy crescent weapon. Now the thing about it's a little difficult because when you enable it, it takes it a few seconds to fire. And during those few seconds, you are immobile. You cannot move. So that hurts. Because the problem is the target can fly out of range during that time. And you are not pointed at them anymore. You're sideways. So that's a little annoying. I think the enhanced version doesn't do that. But I don't have all those consoles to do the enhanced version.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Here it goes. I'm firing. There it goes.
Target shields
So
have
it does a
failed.
pretty
Shields failing.
large amount of damage. But then it has a 2-minute recharge time. So I'll try it again when the recharge is up. See if I can get the high yield to come out. The high yield's kind of slow. But it does a lot of damage. If I can get the high yield to go for you guys to show you, it's pretty cool. It just takes a lot of time. It's a very slow moving torpedo, that's what I mean. There it goes. There's the high yield. Watch that. Look at that. Look at that. Took out half the health in one shot. So if you hit the enemy with a high yield torpedo and the crescent wave at the same time, you would definitely destroy them in one shot. One shot, for sure. I've got a few seconds on the crescent. I need a big target for it, though. There's some little targets somewhere. Get the next group to spawn. What am I missing? That little thing right there. Okay, there's the next group. Caught in a tractor beam. I will not stand for this. See what I mean by it moving out of range while I'm firing? I can't do anything. And that was not a good shot. Oh, and they blew me up too. Well, there's that. Remember, at heart, it is an escort. You need to play like it's an escort. You can't sit there forever taking damage, as you will be destroyed. So I did not get a good shot off on that one, but now I gotta wait. Here's this thing. Does plasma damage. High yield torpedo. It will go to the next target unless it's destroyed. Alright, let's do one of the red alerts that's going on right now. The one I'd really like to do is the Nukara one. Not Nukara. What are they called? Nakul. But these are typically hard to get into. The Borg one just goes too fast. These usually, for some reason, people don't play the Nakul one a lot, even though it's kind of my favorite one, I think. Oops. Let's do Tholian. Maybe we'll get into that one quickly. So while we wait for that, yeah, I love the S'ateth Elachi starship here, and once I get it fully augmented with, you know, everything maxed out to epic level, and I get all of my specializations unlocked on it, maybe get a pilot ability so I can use that final ability. This is a powerful ship. It's one to be contended with. I'll tell you what, you don't want to mess with it. You don't want to mess with it. Do I dare go straight to one of the things?
Warning. Ship is under attack. Four shields failing.
Darn it. Crap.
Hull integrity
I'm
below
inside of a net.
55%. Hull integrity below 50%.
Just when I wanted to fire that thing off, they put me in a bubble.
Rear shields failing.
It's an Elachi ship. You think I should be able to get out of this easy, huh?
Left shield failing.
Like have an innate ability to get out of it? It'd be really cool.
Four shields failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Left shield
I'm not going to get to demonstrate this weapon, am I?
failing.
Crap. And I'm dead. That was a terrible showing. That was not how this was supposed to go. I demand a refund. All I want to do is demonstrate my weapon.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
There.
Target shields have failed.
Look, see, it did quite a bit of damage. And that's a tarantula.
Right shields failing. Target shields have failed.
Darn. The whole thing's already over.
Congratulations, Admiral.
Well, I tried. I tried. What you gonna do? You know, that's randomness for you. That stupid Tholian web. Darn Tholians. I'm mad. Let's do a Borg Red Alert because I'm mad. And now loading times have ceased. It has ceased loading. It has said, no, you shall not load, you shall not pass. Yes, get me in. Let's blow up some Borg ships. I need to relieve stress.
Four shields failing. Target shields have failed. Rear shields failing. Right shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Hull integrity below 50%. Hull integrity below 25%.
You will be Borg.
Okay, fine. Everyone else did it first. I am completely out of health. Let's fire my big one at it.
Resistance detected. Unit matrix 0047. 2 of 10. Engaging now.
75%.
Borg.
Target shields have failed. Four
You
shields
will
failing.
become one with the Borg.
Rear shields failing.
Well, and I'm dead. I died in the explosion. It's an escort, so yeah, you got to be careful with it, but that's why I wanted to play it as an engineer, so I can have some abilities. I need to work with my bridge officer powers, obviously. Those are not finalized. That's just what I could throw up so that I can, you know, work with it. So I can build up all its specs. I love this ship, though. I gotta say, I mean, like I said, I've been doing a lot with it, and I have been playing a lot of things with it, and I really have no trouble. I can rip through anything. I have no problem doing things. It's just a very powerful ship, and it's a lot of fun to play with. It really is. It's just a lot of fun. So there you go. That's the S'ateth Elachi Escort Tier 6 X, fully upgraded. I need to upgrade all my gear on it to epic level. I need to get the rest of my specializations unlocked. I need to get a pilot ability so I can actually try out the mastery ability on it, because I haven't even tried that yet. And it's got a lot of Elachi stuff on it. It's a full Elachi themed build. Eventually, I would like to try out all the other consoles from the other Elachi ships on it also, but I'd have to get those ships first, and I don't have them. Took me forever just to get this ship. Anyway, that's the idea. I wanted a very cool Elachi build, and I've been wanting one for years, and I finally got it, and I'm so happy with this. So I had to make this video because I'm ecstatic. So thank you all for watching this, by the way, and if you like what you see here, consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this and giving the video a like. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.